Hey, good morning, everybody. This is T-Hawk. Hey, I'm gonna make a video about the 12 steps. So, if you are somebody, I'm a recovering alcoholic and prescription drug abuser. I've got, anyway, if you are somebody that's struggling with addiction, alcohol, drugs, anything like that, and you're looking for a way out, and you've been to rehabs, and you've heard about the 12 steps, and people tried to explain them, and they sponsor stuff and doing the 12 steps, and no one's ever given you a good explanation. I'm going to give you my version of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it applies to other ones. But if you're interested, again, this is my take on the 12 steps. It's more of a practical guide. It helped me out, and I'm going to go over each step one by one. This may be a little bit of a long video, but again, if you're struggling with the 12 steps and you want help with addiction, and you want to get out of it, and you want to get into recovery, and you want to get into long-term sobriety, and you want to enjoy life again, and you don't want to struggle with depression and anxiety and taking prescription medication because you're depressed and you're anxious and you're worried, and there's so much hate and fear and separation and racism and division, and the world has got you down, and you don't see any other way out, then stick around, because I'm going to go over the 12 steps. So I'm going to pause after each one so I can get my thoughts. So the first thing is going to be step one. Let me pause it for a second here. Okay, so we're going to get into step one. And if a lot of you, if you're like me, when you read the 12 steps, they didn't make a lot of sense. And especially because I've been an agnostic most of my life, believing there was something out there, but not believing, not following the whole religious thing, and not believing in God, and just not accepting those things. I had a real big problem with steps 2 and 3. Step 1 is always the easy one that people can do, and step 12 is. Step 1 is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. So that's actually a two-part thing. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol is step 1, and that's things like, for me, I'm an alcoholic because when I start drinking, I don't know when to stop. Powerless means that, I can't go to sleep. I'm having trouble sleeping, so I take that drink. Powerless means that I look forward to that drink at the end of the day to wind down. Look forward to that drink playing the video games. Look forward to that drink when I go to social events like the fantasy football, or to a UT football game, or when I used to golf. Alcohol was always a big part of everything. And when it starts to control your life, and when you can't just do the social things, and when you can't just set that drink down, and you have to have that drink to cope and to live, and when you start, and then the second part is our lives have become unmanageable. And for me, that involved as a social drinker and as a functional drinker, for almost 30 years, I lied to myself, I deceived myself. But once everything started falling into place, I lost my job. I got fired from several jobs, and I kept my job for I kept it for 17 years straight, and I was a good worker and a good employee. Just toward the end, my life became unmanageable. Lost my job, being controlled by my wife, my family life, not good. My kids turning against me, finding no way out, and eventually overdosing. But it's very important that, for me anyways, to make a list of powerless and unmanageability. Why are the things that are making me powerless over alcohol? I listed them all out. And why is my life unmanageable? And I have a list. And you just go through. I just went through, and it's everything like depression, suicidal thoughts, not being able to go through the day, not being able to do a Zoom call without getting nervous and drinking. So things like this. So that's step 1. And then we're going to get into step 2 and step 3, which are the breakers for a lot of people. But I hope you stick around just for a little bit. Let me pause just for a second. Okay, now step 2. Step 2 is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Okay. First of all, then you have to say that, wait a minute, I must be insane, and I must be insane to drink that large amounts of alcohol that I did and depend on that. That was my best friend, my crutch. But came to believe that a power greater than ourselves. And people were like, I don't believe in anything. I'm an agnostic, or I'm an atheist, or I'm turning my back on God. Listen, it's not about God. It's about a power greater than yourself. Is there something greater than yourself? And you have to admit, damn, a lot of things are more powerful than me. A damn tiger's more powerful than me. The ocean's more powerful than me. The weather system, tornadoes, the universe, the galaxies, the sun is more powerful than me. My higher self, my higher consciousness, that higher version of me, that godlike, that source, that spirit, that Holy Spirit. There's something, and I know that there's something for me anyways, because I should have died at least 5 times. I should have drowned. I didn't. I hit a telephone pole head on at 60-something miles an hour. I survived. Fell asleep driving up a mountain road and went off one way when I could have gone off the other. Survived. Blackout drunk. Driving. Blackout drunk on a 10-story balcony. Falling asleep and throwing up in my sleep and laying on my side. And the last one was overdosing and dying and coding. And I do firmly believe that I've had God or something protecting me my whole life. I have to believe that or I wouldn't be here. So I had to get past step 2 and say, I do possibly believe that there is a power greater than me. And that's all step 2 is you have to believe and have to accept that something is greater than you. And then I'm just going to go straight to step 3. This is the one which breaks a lot of people, which I never could do. I would never do step 3. I would do step 1 and step 12. I admit I got a problem, and step 12 I'll help people and I'll tell them my story. But step 3 says, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Now, for me, it took me a long time. I did get a sponsor that talked to me, and things just happened that year. It was in December, okay? And I was going to AA meetings, and I found out that one of my friends in rehab had overdosed the night before, and everyone is real sad, and I'm devastated because, it was a good friend of mine in rehab. And for me, I've been to rehab 4 times. Okay, 4 times. And then I texted my best friend who was my roommate in rehab, okay? My roommate. And I found out, got a text from his wife saying that he also had died the previous summer in a drowning. So, and my family was controlling everything, taking the keys away, taking batteries out of car, controlling the amount of cigarettes, controlling my Xanax, which I was addicted to. They were controlling that, and I was going into some really bad stuff because I was not getting off of it properly. I decided that my mind said I want to take a lot of ibuprofen to go to sleep because I'm not sleeping. And what I did is I checked out, and I died. And I'm going back and I'm talking, but I had enough. And I got down on my hands and knees and I said, what the hell? I'm going to do the 3rd step prayer. And I got down on my hands and knees and I said, dear God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self so that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help with thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. And if you read AA and about Bill Wilson and about his spiritual experience, and I had something very similar. And I had a spiritual awakening that day in March 2023. And I came to know that there is a higher version and that there is something looking out for me. And there's more than meets the eye, and there's more than we're being told. And if you can just get past step 3, anything, if you can just turn your will and life over to something greater than yourself, because the magic starts, okay? The magic starts when you get past step 3. That's why you have to get past it, okay? Because when you go to step 4 is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And step 4 is step 4 and 5 for me are the most important steps. And I've been taking some notes. Let me pause it just for a second because I want to make sure I get all this right. So step 4 is when you go down deep, okay? Step 4 is when you start asking yourself those hard questions. Why do I drink? When did I start drinking? Why did I get addicted to alcohol? Why am I so easily addicted to other addictive things? Like for me, it was Xanax or whatever. Why? And for me, I drove to a town that I used to work in. It was a small town. I found the crappiest hotel I could find. And I stayed up all night, and I got some poster boards, and I got pens and papers, and I just started started examining my whole life. Started looking at childhood traumas. I started looking at abandonment. I started looking at my uncle getting me drunk at 10 years old. Started looking at my father giving me alcohol as a 5-year-old. I started looking at my brother and his womanizing, and I started looking as I didn't have a father figure because my father was a womanizer, drug abuser, alcoholic that ran off. And so I was raising my stepdad, and I had a lot of abandonment issues, and I had a lot of childhood issues. I was shy, introverted, kept to myself, didn't want to be around people, wanted to be imaginative, creative, was not, a different kind of person. Why do and I wrote down some stuff, heal wounds, examine childhood traumas. Why do I drink? And get it all out, find out patterns. My brother did this, my mom did this, my father did this, and I'm pissed, and I fucked them, and fuck this, and fuck it, and I'm angry at you, God, and why me? And you talk it all out, and you write all this shit down, and you get all pissed, and you cry, and you laugh, and you blame God, and you examine all your weaknesses and all your strengths and all your. Why are you resentful? Why are you hateful? Why do you need to mask? Why do I need to cover up? What was my role in it? Was there narcissistic behavior in my childhood? And then no more suppressing this stuff. Looked at the guilt, the shame. Looked at every time I've embarrassed people or been guilty, and I examined those things. And I started learning to forgive people, see their roles, see my roles, see what I can do better, see why it happened, and how I can improve. And because we're all just living a human experience in a spiritual form. And, shit happens. And what I came to realize also during that is that I want to be the adult version that would have protected the child version of me. And you get all that stuff out. And this is going to be a long video. And then you feel so much better because now you know reasons. Now you're not here to solve everything at this stage. You're just trying to dig deep and find out. And step 5 is, and it'll go faster here, but step 5 is very important too, because you admit it to God or whoever you think your higher source is, universe, the ocean, tornadoes, earthquakes, higher energies, higher consciousness. Admit it to God, to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. Basically, you can't just bottle it all up. So you get a sponsor or someone you trust, and you get all your notes and all that, and you take it to them, and you talk about everything. What was my role in it? What was the defects of character that was associated with each one of those? Was it fear? 9 times out of 10, it was fear. Was it resentment? Was it jealousy? Was it hatred? Was it, just what was it? And you admit it to that person, admit it to God, and you get it all out of your system. And then you give all that shit to whoever, and then they take it away and they burn it, and it's gone. And you get to start new. You get to start new. So it's so important to get past step 2 and 3. And I'm going to try to get through a little bit faster here. But step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Step 6 is you got to be willing. So what are your defects of character? First of all, you got to identify what they are. Maybe I gossip, talk behind people's backs. Maybe I don't listen. Maybe I finish people's sentences. Maybe I'm thinking about what someone's going to say and not listening to them. Maybe I'm judging people prematurely. Maybe I'm judging people based on their race, their color, their ethnicity. Maybe I'm looking at people's faults and just wanting the meeting to end and looking at all the negative things. Those are some defects. Jealousy, anger, resentment, holding stuff in, depression, anxiety, fear. And it's so important to write all these defects of characters, or shortcomings if you want to call them. What would you like to improve on? What do you not like about yourself? And you just have to be willing in step 6 to go, these are them. And at some point I'm going to ask my higher version to help me remove them, get rid of them, And that's all step 6 is. And then step 7 is you humbly ask him, whoever your higher power is, your whatever you want to be, to remove these shortcomings or defects of character. And it's not a one-time deal. You can ask and ask, go, Dear Heavenly Father, I would like, and there's a the 7-step prayer that I'm not going to read it right now, but please help remove all these defects of characters. Maybe there's some that you want to hold on to. Maybe pride and ego, which pride is good, but also pride can be very detrimental. And ego can make you just think about yourself. And the ultimate goal is to have unconditional love in our hearts and to do better each day and to make an impact and to help other people. But to help ourselves, we have to do self-care and we have to take care of ourselves, or we cannot help anybody else. So we have to take care of ourselves. That's step 6. Step 7, I'm sorry. And then we're going to go through these a little bit quicker now, but and then I'll be done. And I hope what I'm telling you has helped out, because it helped me out, because you don't have to, it's not a one-time deal, and we'll get into that. But step 8 is made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Well, for me, I was actually, for the most part, a nice alcoholic that worked 25 years in the industry with 2 jobs in engineering, that loved my family, that came home and supported them every night, put food on the table, paid the rent, paid the mortgage, bought their toys, gave them good Christmases and good birthdays. But I was just an alcoholic. But there were people along the way that I hurt, especially people that I worked with and my family, definitely. So for me, that kind of list, it was, I do have to apologize. And I can say I'm sorry till I'm blue in the face to my family and to my friends and the people I've hurt. Sorry, they've heard that so many times that it's show me what you've done. Okay, prove it. Walk the walk, talk the talk, and over time it will help. But made a list, and these may be people that have passed on and I had to talk. So for me, I apologize to my family, but I was a living amends where I kept on becoming better and better and trying to prove myself every day to be a better person and hope that they would accept and forgive me. Mostly I had to forgive myself. But I ended up writing letters. I ended up writing letters to people that had passed on. And I read it to them. And it made me feel better. And I kept the letters, or I burned the letters. It's up to me. And the people that were out of town, some of my bosses that I did wrong in the last years of my engineering career, I wrote them all letters. But the thing is, you see, it's for me. It's not for them. I didn't even have to mail the letters if I didn't want to, because it's for me. You have to understand it's for you. It's not for the people you hurt. You making amends or not, or writing a letter or not, is entirely up to you. Your choice. What makes you sleep better, what makes you not drink and use, and what makes you feel good about yourself. That's the most important thing. So don't think that you have to do all that shit that they say that you have to do, because you don't. It's up to you to do it, okay? Now, step 9 was you made direct amends to those people. Step 8 and 9 are very similar. Except when to do so would harm them, like, I did so-and-so. I'm not saying I did this, but, like in the book, it'll say, like, if you had an affair or something, you don't want to be telling, hurt somebody's feelings when they don't need to be hurt because of your problems, okay? Step 10 is continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. Basically, step 10 is just saying that it's a never-ending steps. You just start step 4 again. Start step 1 again. You admit you got a problem. You turn it over to God. You do it, because the inventory or your defaults or things you want to get better never end. You can always improve on those things. So it's a continuous thing. And then 11 is sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for His knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Basically, just do what you've been doing the whole time, is praying and meditating, getting right with yourself. Work on breathing, work on doing yoga, work on improving your physical appearance, your mental stability, your spiritual connection with a higher source. That's all it is. Through prayer and meditation, continue to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood it, but also continue to improve yourself as a human being and improve yourself so that you can help your fellow man. And that you can improve and just keep doing the next right thing. And just keep on remembering that it's progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection, okay? And then number 12 is having had a spiritual awakening as the results of these steps. We tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Basically, it's just help a brother out that's in need, because when you share your story at an AA meeting or an NA meeting or whatever, maybe you don't think that you're helping, but maybe someone in that room is needed to hear what you had to say. And it's going to help them, because the thing is we're in this together. We are all suffering from a disease, and it is a disease of alcoholism, of drug abuse, of whatever the addiction is. But when we share openly and we help someone, we give someone a ride. We see, I would make at the AA meetings, there would be homeless people there. I would make goodie bags for them with raincoats and food and water and hand warmers and gloves, and just I would give every once in a while, or I would talk to them, listening their stories. You can be a big book thumper, and that's fine, and you can do all these phrases, but it's important. You don't have to share in meetings, but it's important to at least listen and begin to, when you can share. Maybe it's a smaller meeting, because if you're an introvert or shy, like I am, and just talking on this has been hard. But anyway, I would have had, I keep saying I would have, but it's close to about 630 days. With the exception of one day slip up last summer. Well, I got pushed into a corner, and I thought there was no other way out. But you see, the thing is, and I relapsed for one day, and then I got right back on again. The thing is that the amount of sobriety doesn't define me. It's just a number. It's what I know inside. And I'm going on almost 4 months again now. And it does get better. It does get easier. It gets to the point where you don't even think about it. But if you follow the steps and you do it, and you look at the Just for Today also that AA puts out. And I'll go over that another time, but I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope this has helped at least one person out to help with your addiction problem, because we're all in this together. We've got to help each other. And I love every one of you. And just keep moving forward. If you fall down, take a couple steps backward, take 3 steps forward, get up, dust yourself off, and move forward. There's nothing like perfection. Just keep doing a little bit each day. Progress, not perfection. One day at a time. Do the next right thing. Love you. Peace. Bye.